So again, my name is Gloria Coe, and I serve as Alumni Career Engagement Senior Director. And I'm a double Bruin, graduated in 2006 with a communications degree, and then got my master's in education in 2007. And so excited to be here with you. For many of you are graduate students. And so if this is your first year as a graduate student at UCLA, welcome. We're so excited to have you here as a Bruin. And thank you for coming and your interest to the Alumni Mentor Program. The Alumni Mentor Program is a year-long program, and it's actually a part of a suite of many different career programming that we have from the Alumni Association. We care deeply about your success as a student and alumni. So many of you may be confused. Why is the Alumni Association programming for us as students? And when we believe that alumni are a critical part of your professional development while you're a student, we want you to be able to build the connections that you're seeking while you're here, rather than when you've left us. And so we have a lot of different resources for networking. We also have partnerships across campus with our undergraduate programs. But this program actually is a partnership with the Graduate Student Association. We were thrilled to be able to launch it last spring when COVID started. We knew that our graduate students needed help and needed connections with our alumni to move forward their professional goals during the pandemic. And so we started it in March. But this year we're excited to have a full year for you for the program. And so I'll be talking a little bit about how we define mentorship, what you can look forward to for the year ahead if you decide to join us in this program. So the program mission, we want to foster meaningful relationships between UCLA alumni and current students. We believe that the connections that you make during this program really prepare you for a successful future and can leave a really lasting impression on the campus community. We know that you've chosen to come to UCLA for multiple reasons. We know that maybe it's the degree that you want to achieve, it's the prestige of the program that you selected. But we also know that the UCLA network was probably part of that equation, wanting to connect with Bruins, connect with leaders in industry that you're interested in. And so we want to help you today find, this is one way in which you can connect with alumni. The program last year, we had over 2,000 students participate and 977 alumni engaged. We had representation from 20 different graduate and PhD programs. And we actually had a good mix of male to female alumni, which we are really excited about. If you want more information about the mentor program, especially for a graduate student, go to alumni.ucla.edu/gradmentor. We know that there are other mentorship programs that exist on campus. Some of them are smaller, some of them are program specific. And so our program is a bit wider in the net in that we have alumni from all different programs that participate. All different advanced degrees are part of the mentor program. And so you have access to people that are outside of your degree, if you choose that you would like that, or you can also connect with alumni that share your degree. And so this is an interesting way for you to connect with alumni. So let's take a step back. Before I jump into program details, there are a couple of ways that you can look at a mentor. There are personal mentors that we have in our lives. These are oftentimes people that we're close to. Oftentimes family members are personal mentors, maybe someone that really made an impact with you when you were in high school or college, or maybe this is just someone that you think very highly of and that they speak into your life maybe more frequently. These are personal mentors in our lives. Then we have professional mentors. These are models for our career and professional success. Maybe this is someone we see on LinkedIn or UCLA One. These are people that, wow, I really think that their job looks really interesting. I would like to be like them. Professional mentors are oftentimes people that we can model ourselves after. Then we have leadership mentors. These are mentors that we aspire to be. Sometimes maybe they're not in our realm. Maybe these are people that we see as, wow, we love their leadership theories. Maybe Coach Wooden is a leadership mentor to you. These are people that we aspire to be like, but maybe they aren't in our sphere of influence or in our day-to-day. And oftentimes, I think a lot of our students who are interested in the mentor program, they think that they need to find a mentor that hits all three of these buckets. And I wanted to demystify that a little bit and say, if you have a goal, or if you are in need of maybe a personal mentor, maybe over a professional one, maybe you are a parent that has children and you're pursuing your degree, but you would like to potentially find another person who also finished a degree with children and raising a family, that may be a personal mentor that may be more interesting to you in this program. Maybe some of you are in an MBA program and you're interested in a company for a specific internship in a couple years, and you would like to build a relationship within that company. This is a professional mentor that could be more interesting to you. So I want to encourage all of us to think about what are some of the more important aspects of our experience right now that we'd like that guidance. Many times we think a mentor has to hit all of these buckets to be the perfect match, but I want to encourage you to find one that can maybe hit at least one of these. And then maybe that professional side can build out, or that personal side can build out. Most commonly, we ask our students to really think about that professional mentor, and then the personal side will come out over time. And so these are just something to think about as you are interested in looking at your particular mentor that you're interested in working with. And also some things to consider, especially as we are moving through such an interesting time in our history, especially with the pandemic. This could maybe limit some of the time and energy you have to put into a mentorship. So things to think about are, what do I hope to learn from a mentor? Is there ways that I want to grow personally? Is this an area that, what do I hope to learn, whether it's, balance, whether that's finding, having a sane and healthy mental health? What do I hope to develop in myself this year? What are areas of preparation and confidence that you'd like to grow this year? That can really align with a professional goal. Maybe this is an area that you want to develop this year. And then also, last question I want you to ask is, how much time am I willing to put into this process? Sometimes we think that once we're paired with a mentor, boom, it's going to be an amazing mentorship automatically. But I want to put it out there that mentorship, a true mentorship, takes time. It takes time to build, and just to build that relationship and comfort with one another. And also, mentors really require your initiative. If you have questions and goals that you would like to hit, being clear and honest and open with them about those goals and about how they can help you is key. We get a lot of feedback from mentors saying that the student didn't really know what they wanted, so the conversations are left to the mentor to figure out. And we really want you to approach your mentorship in a very curious and open way, that you bring questions, that you bring items to talk about, that you pursue your mentor so that they know that you're interested and invested in this mentorship. And so these are things to consider as you begin this mentorship process, because once you have thought about these things, the rest of the mentorship request process becomes much easier and much more clear. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our program expectations. So if you are part of this mentor program and you're signing up to take on a mentor, what are you committing to? You're committing to the academic year. It doesn't mean that you have to call them every day, but at least monthly communication. And that's also what we're asking our alumni to commit to as well, that they would be in communication with you at least on a monthly basis. However, we are all now in a virtual setting, so that actually may be more frequent if you and your mentor are agreeable to that. We also ask that you fill out our pre and post surveys. This is to help us track and manage how your mentorship is growing. We ask that you also just to be honest with us. Be responsive and timely in your correspondence, whether that's to staff or to your mentor. It's okay to say, hey, right now I'm in my comprehensive exams and I don't have time to meet, but I would love to set a time to meet later. Is that okay? Be responsive and be timely in your correspondences, and be honest. And also be appropriate and respectful. I am going to put it out there that it is not your mentor's job to find you a job or an internship. However, it is their responsibility to be able to help walk with you through that process. And so be appropriate and respectful, be honest in terms of your expectations, but they will also be honest with you. So if it's not maybe a good fit, that is okay as well, to come out of it realizing, hey, this wasn't a good fit. So we're just, this is where we go with it. And then we move on, right? And so be appropriate and respectful. And I will also say, if your mentor is not being appropriate and respectful to you, if let's say that you are in a compromising position or they say things that are inappropriate, we want you to tell our staff right away, because we don't want you to be in that situation and you do not have to manage that on your own. So if you are put in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, you know that you have a resource in us in managing that, in managing it and closing it down. So, Avi, I see your question there in the chat. I will address that in just a little bit. And so some of the things that I want you to think about in terms of some skills that you'll develop. And again, I know the pandemic has been developing all three of these already. And so in a mentorship, they develop these three even more, which is grit, perseverance, and flexibility. And I say these three in particular because oftentimes a mentorship won't always go to plan. And so if it doesn't, you are able to cancel and to discontinue your mentorship. This, again, we want that agency to be in your hands. So if you and your mentor find that it isn't a good fit or your mentor is not being responsive, we want to give you the agency to say, hey, I'm going to cancel this request and I'm going to move on. And we do expect you to have that understanding of like, I know myself and I can't keep chasing this person down. I'm going to move on. But also you have to have that grit to say, like, maybe like I see there's something here. If you want to continue, you can, but you know, we'll be in that process. Perseverance in that maybe you've been accepted by a mentor, but you're feeling like, okay, it's not necessarily going at the pace that I'm wanting it to be. We want you to also to have perseverance in that you never know what your alumni mentor may be going through. Maybe it's a busy season at work. Maybe their kids are managing distance learning and they're having a hard time. Just putting yourself out there, giving them some room as well. But also knowing that you have an end goal in mind, and if they've agreed to that end goal, then know that they will remember that. And so also persevere. And again, we're all going through this together, so know that it may take a couple times to really find a rhythm. And also flexibility. I think this is key too, especially in the mentor request process. If you find that the person that you're really excited about is not responding to your request, we again want to say, hey, cancel that request and we want you to move on and find someone new, because we want you to be flexible because this person doesn't seem to be a good fit. So let's be flexible and maybe go to your second choice. Okay. So these are all skills that that will show up in your mentorship, whether that's on their side, them being more flexible to be able to meet with you or to have that perseverance through the year. We also we're very active about choosing a year for our mentor program, because we know that life happens and that sometimes you need a month in between communication to be able to have room for developments and also for progress. So if that's not what you're looking for and you're looking for something much more quick, I actually will talk about an option for you in case you're like, no, I really don't want a year-long responsibility. So let me talk about the mentor pairing process. So this process, we think it's great because it's student initiated. You get to choose the kinds of mentors you want to work with. You get to choose what matters to you before you make that mentor request. So to start, sign up on UCLA One. You can go to ucla1.com to be able to start that and to register your profile. You actually also, you can use your LinkedIn to create the profile so that you don't have to recreate and re-enter information. You can actually register directly there with your LinkedIn account. But if you choose that you would like to just start from scratch with an email, you can just do that with your email name and then also your grad year so that you can move that forward. And then you're going to do your research. I will show you in a demo in just a little bit, but you'll review profiles and check alumni out for the different areas and the companies that they work with. And then I also recommend that you create a preference list. Have a list of about 1 to 4 alumni that you would be really interested in working with, and you'll work your way down that list as you make your alumni requests. And so just so that you are allowed to make 1 request of a mentor at a time. The reason we do that is because oftentimes in the past, when we didn't have these limits, students would send a myriad of requests and then they would then have too many mentors that they couldn't manage. And so your mentor is expecting that if you've submitted a request that you're interested in working with them. And so we only allow you to request one mentor at a time. And so when you send the request, your alumni will see it and they will either accept or decline. If they accept, great, you can move on and you can start your communication. If they decline, then you can move on to your next set of mentors that you're interested in requesting. If you find that the first request is not being answered to in a responsive amount of time, an appropriate amount of time, then you can actually cancel the request and then move on to your next alumni mentors. So I will show you a little bit about how exactly you'll be able to do that as well. And so here's a sample request template. You'll first introduce yourself, share your year, your name, your year, your program, and any relevant campus or volunteer work experience that you see you may have in common with your mentor. And then you'll explain what you hope to learn from your alumni mentor. Know that they may be getting other requests, so they're looking at, how best they will be putting their time into your experience. So talk about, any references that you may see in their profile, maybe that you're interested in their particular company and their role, or maybe you share a degree and how you'd like to learn from them and how they've been able to transition that into industry. Be specific in why you want to work with this person. And then also conclude in asking them if they'd be interested in being your mentor and thank them for your consideration. Especially for our graduate students, we know that if you're looking outside of your program to be able to broaden your network, be sure to put that. Say that maybe you are in an education program, but you're really interested in how education and business connect. Maybe that's something that you're really interested in finding through this program. So be sure to list out why maybe you don't share a degree, or maybe that you see that you both came from a separate institution outside of UCLA and that you're interested in seeing how you then could be able to, transition into a new institution. So those are all ways that, again, because this program is a bit wider than just your degree, being sure to list out those areas. Be sure to answer questions you think a mentor may have, like, oh, I wonder why they're interested in me. Be sure to answer that in your template. And I also recommend that you write this template outside of the platform, write it on a Word doc. So then that way you can edit it and prepare it, and you don't have to leave your screen on or in case it gets lost. And you'll see why in just a little bit. And then after you're accepted, once your mentor accepts you, we have resources along the way. We have staff that can answer questions and give you advice. And also we'll have an orientation and kickoff to just start the process. We'll go through a mentorship agreement where you and your mentor can talk about some of the things that your preferences before you start. And then also we provide online resources and newsletters for you so that you have things to talk about throughout. But when we talked to some of our past graduate student mentors, some of the things they really talked about were, having a list of things that you're interested in accomplishing this year and asking your mentor to walk alongside you as you accomplish those things. And especially as we're all in a distance learning mode, what are some things that you would love to do, whether that's to broaden your network, connect with other Bruins, connect with people in their company. Those are things that we want you to consider as you are selecting your mentor. So now I'm actually going to do a quick demo of the site so that you can see a little bit of how you would go through that process. And so when you sign into UCLA One, you will actually see this as the main page. We have a lot of different things here for you to explore, from the feed to the directory, our jobs boards, our groups. And if you have your own business and services, feel free to advertise that here. But we're talking about the Alumni Mentor Program. So you go to the left panel here and you click on Alumni Mentor Program. And I'm actually signed in under one of our students. This is his profile. So as you see, there may be some people that the platform will think of for you, but we also encourage you to find your mentor in the directory. So click on Find Your Own Mentor. And so right now, so we have about 960 registered users that have indicated that they're interested in taking on a student as part of the mentor program. If you're interested in, let's say, for example, I'm interested in an MBA. I'm interested in seeing people that have this degree. I'll click on that and it'll show me 65 registered users that have an MBA, or that they've listed that they have an MBA. And maybe I'm interested, I'll scroll down, take a look, and maybe I'm interested in Tom here. And I'll click on him, I'll read his summary. And some people may have more information on their bios or their profile. Some of them may have even answered why they're interested in taking on a graduate student mentee. And so I'll take a read, and let's say I really am interested in him. I'll click on this button here that says request mentorship. And so I'll have taken information and I'll have typed in my information here, and I can add that in here. And just for example, I'll say I want to write it to Tom. So I'll add in that information there, click, add it in, and then press send. Okay. So that's oftentimes the trickiest part. Some people think that, oh, where do I write it? You actually click on write your message to Tom, and then you can start here, Tom. Okay. So then it'll go away, and then you can start typing. Once you've submitted your request, you'll find that it's gone through, and then you go to this section that's called Mentor Requests and Approvals. And so as an example, Kyle here has sent me a request so that you can see. He hasn't written that much, obviously, as an example, but you'll see your message, and your mentor will see your message as well. And so let's say I have not responded to Kyle in a very long time, since September. He can assume that I don't want to work with him, so then he would cancel your request. So if your mentor during this period, your mentor request is not being accepted or there's no response, we ask that you cancel your request and move on. If you would like to try a couple more times to get their attention, you're welcome to message, and you can type in a message here and ask, hey, just wanted to follow up on my request. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Happy to answer any questions you may have. And then you can send them that message. If that person is not responsive and is not getting back to you, then we recommend that you cancel the request to free up your request limit, and then you can make that request again. Okay. And so that's just a little bit about the demo site, about the site, so that you can, be familiar with it as you're coming in. However, if let's say you're listening to this info session and you're realizing, I really don't have the bandwidth to take on a mentor this year for the whole year, what may interest you is right now on the platform, there is the ability to search for people who are interested in informational interviews. And these are people that are interested in just connecting and sharing a little bit more about their experience, but may not want to take on a mentee. So you go to Get Involved on the right-hand side here, click on that. Under Offering Help, you can select Available for Informational Interviews, and then this will show all the people that are in the platform that are willing to be contacted for informational interviews. And then you can click on someone here. And then if you're interested in connecting with them over an informational interview, you can request help, select Available for Informational Interviews, and then type in here, Michelle, and type in your request. So this is an option if the mentorship program is a little bit too long for you, or you're thinking you don't really want to participate and build that relationship over the course of the year. You just maybe have one simple question or a series of questions for someone, and you would just like to go that way. So that again is an option for you if in case you are interested in connecting with alumni, but not necessarily in a mentorship capacity. And so now I just wanted to do some key dates with you. You can start today by creating a profile on UCLA One and start your research. On October 19th, because you've attended this info session, you have priority access to request your mentor. You can start and submit your request then. You can, if you decide to wait, other students have request access on the 20th. So we recommend that you submit your request on the 19th to get it in before other people. You will receive an email saying that because you've attended this info session, that your priority access starts, on that day, on the 19th. So look out for that email to know when you can start making your request. Other students will have access on the 20th. And then we ask that all of our mentor requests be submitted by the 27th. And your alumni actually have until the 30th to accept or decline your request. So again, if you have any questions about that process, feel free to email us. My colleague Joseph will add in our email to the chat. But also be sure that if the mentor is not responding in a timely manner, just go ahead and cancel the request and move on to someone else. On the 17th, we'll have a graduate student program kickoff. So with your mentor, we will go over some orientation material, some information for you both, and then you both will connect on your own to start your mentorship. So right now, that is all my prepared materials, but if you have any questions, please use the Q&A. I think I had some people here who sent in a question in the chat. Catherine, she writes, how long should it take for our application request to be approved so we can have access to the platform? Right now, we know it's a busy season, so we're getting a lot of requests. You can expect it to be approved within 24 to 48 hours so that you can get into the platform to start researching. And then when you said, Julia asked, did we have to sign in? And the answer is yes. So when you go to ucla1.com, it will ask you to register. So I recommend, if you have a LinkedIn account, to use your LinkedIn account to register. And so then that way you don't have to repeat any information that you've already put on your LinkedIn, and it will automatically populate your profile. And so if you connect your LinkedIn that way, it'll take about 24 to 48 hours for us to approve it, if it doesn't already automatically approve you. Some of you can maybe just get approved right away. And typically that's because we're, again, everyone on UCLA One is a vetted person. So they're either a student or they are alumni, staff, or faculty. And so we do need to make sure that we do some record checking to make sure that the people that are in UCLA One are legitimate. So that's why it does take a little bit of time. Another question that I received in the Q&A from an anonymous person is just how many requests can we send? And the limit right now is one. You can send one request at a time. And if you find that they are not being responsive, we find that most people feel that their mentors are being responsive. So if you find that someone is not being responsive, please feel free to either send them a message or you can cancel the request and move on to free up your allotment, okay? And then I have Daraj who asked, can you get a mentor and also request informational interviews? And the answer is definitely yes. Yes, you can. The mentor program and informational interviews are totally separate. And UCLA One as a platform is here to help you get your questions answered from the alumni network. So if you get a mentor, that's wonderful. Move forward with your mentor and have that mentorship relationship throughout the year. And then you can request informational interviews all year long to anyone that's on the platform. And so that's even to other students. Maybe you're interested in connecting with another student in a different program, or maybe you're thinking you want to extend your program and double up on a different degree. You're welcome to connect with other students as well. So you are able to request informational interviews and get a mentor at the same time. I have someone named Nita. Hi, is there a best time to participate in this program? For example, is it better to look for a mentor earlier in your degree program and shift informational interviews as you're closer to completion, or vice versa? She is currently a first-year PhD student and anticipates completion in 6 to 7 years from now. You know what? I think that it really depends on, I think, your bandwidth. If you're thinking you would be interested in taking on a mentor, let's say you have 6 to 7 years, maybe you want to explore different areas or how different PhD alumni have utilized their PhD. If you do a mentor a year, that maybe you are able to switch it up, have different mentors. You could potentially have 6 to 7 people in your network that you can grow and build in your relationship with. So I would say informational interviews are really if you have specific questions for these people. Mentorship is if you're really looking to understand an area and really build that person in your network. And so I would say, if it's your first year and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed as well, it really depends. You have a little bit more of a runway before you graduate. So maybe taking a year to do some informational interviews and then finding a mentor may be helpful. For some people, their programs are only 1 to 2 years long, so they want to take on that mentor right away. So it really depends on your bandwidth, but I also think of it as you have 6 to 7 years to really grow in relationship with 6 to 7 people. So taking on a mentor is definitely not a bad idea. So that's something to consider. And I have another question from someone saying if they're graduating in December, can I still request a mentor? And it is yes, you can. So just because you're graduating at a different timeline, that means you can still take on a mentor, and just let them know. Let them know that you are graduating, that you're looking for your next steps, and that having a mentor is important for you at this time. So be sure to let them know and be honest about that. Okay. And so let's see, I have a question from someone that, since this is a one-year program, is this something you can start next year? Do you have to sign up for our first year to participate? I would say if you have multiple years in your program, and like if you're signing up this year for this mentor, you're letting them know you're starting it right now. So if you are saying, I don't really want to do this mentor program, maybe I want to wait till next year, then I would not sign up for this mentor program, because the mentor is thinking you want to start right away. If you're, again, not thinking you want to do something as long-term as a mentor program, then I would recommend the informational interviews as just one-offs to really get that information, but then be able to say, hey, thank you for your time, I'm going to move on. Okay. Nathan asked me to request informational interviews. Should we use the same format as the mentor request? And the answer is, I would say yes. Use that same, introduce yourself, ask for a little bit of their time, that you have some questions prepared. I would not recommend you sending all your questions. I would just say, I have some questions to learn more about your experience. And I would, would you be available for an hour to meet virtually for me to ask? And so then that way it gives them a clear understanding of how much time you're asking for. And then you come prepared to the informational interview with the questions that you have specifically. I've gotten some feedback from alumni that if you can find it on Google, do not ask this person in person. So they are impressed when you say, oh, I did my research and I saw that you did this webinar on this topic and it was really interesting. Ask the question that you want to ask is more about what you cannot find on Google. Okay. So if you can't find it online, like, oh, they were able to turn their geography PhD into an industry job, how do they do that? That's the kind of questions you want to bring to an informational interview, not, oh, I saw that you worked here. Like, what is that like? You know, like if you can find that, if you can find information online, then they want you to ask questions that you can't find online. Okay. I have an anonymous question. Is this program catered toward degree-specific programs? Currently, this program is it's a broader program. So if you're looking for something that is more degree specific, you actually can make it degree specific by only looking for alumni that share your degree. So you can do that in your search. You can make it degree specific. But if, let's say, you decide that you want to branch out and find someone else, you're welcome to do that as well. So again, it's really what you want to make of it, not necessarily what we dictate. But if they're in the platform and they say that they're interested in taking a mentee, they're fair game. So if you want to, again, make it degree specific, you can. But if you want to make it more broad or open, you can. So I have a question from Mo. How helpful or different is the mentor program than reaching out to alums directly on LinkedIn? That's actually a great question. So UCLA One, we update our preferences and mentor preferences every year. So these 800 people that have notified that they're interested in mentoring, they've recently let us know that. So you may have someone on LinkedIn who created their LinkedIn profile maybe 3 years ago and never check it. The people that are on UCLA One are warm asks. These are people that have already been asked on your behalf if they're willing to be a mentor. You're just asking them specifically for you. So if you would like that and you would like to have that warm ask, it makes your ask that much easier. Rather than on LinkedIn, you have to send them a message and ask, or you put that message in their in the connect button or something. You may or may not have someone respond to you, but usually people on UCLA One are much more responsive than they are on LinkedIn. And then also the difference also I would say is, again, the mentorship side, we've also asked our alumni if they're willing to commit for a year. And by indicating that is they have said yes, they are willing to be with you for a year. So again, that's the difference. LinkedIn, it's a little bit, you kind of want to build that rapport a little bit on your own before you could ask someone to dedicate a year with you. So that's the difference, I think, between like a LinkedIn and with the UCLA One platform. Mo, you also asked a good question. Am I expected to also mentor an underclassman, such as an undergrad? or just anyone from the same program. Mo, you do not have to mentor someone if you do not want to. So you do not have to mentor an underclassman. This program is so that you get the help that you need, so that our graduate students get the help that they're looking for, not necessarily just so that they can help. However, if you would like to help, I would say indicate in the platform ways that you are willing to help, because I'm sure undergraduates are going to be looking for you. But if you're not necessarily in the space that you want to help an undergrad, that's totally fine. We're here to support you as a student. But if you are excited to help an undergrad, we're so thankful for that. I got another question from an anonymous. So it's not awkwardly uncomfortable, creepy to have extensively Googled your potential mentor or info interviewee. I would say we live in a time where people can Google each other, so it shouldn't be that creepy. However, I wouldn't want to, I would say you should not be creepily stalking their Facebook or their Instagram. That's a little bit awkward. Like, oh, I saw you posted this photo on Instagram. That's a little creepy, right? So I would say keep it professional. Keep it to, oh, I saw that you spoke. I Googled you and I saw that you spoke here, or you wrote an article here, or you published this here. I think if you keep it to a professional context, it won't be as creepy. And again, also making that time really informative is good. So rather than say, hey, tell me about yourself, like that's too broad, right? Like getting it very into the nitty gritty and saying, hey, I saw that you were on this committee at CAA. You know, what was that like? How did you get selected for that committee? Being very specific can make that experience a little bit more helpful. So yeah, if you keep it to professional settings, professional platforms, it's not as creepy. But if you're starting to go on their Facebook or Instagram, it does get a little creepy. So probably steer clear. I also have a question. When creating a UCLA One profile, what should we include in the open questions section? Again, I would say, you know, click on, again, the mentor will be looking at your profiles as well to see if there's a fit. So putting things that you're interested in, your identities and affiliations that are meaningful to you. What were different projects or research that you took on as a student? Or what are some areas that you're interested in sharing? You know, again, if you're a parent and you're looking to connect with other parents that are at UCLA getting degrees, that's a great thing to put in your profile. Sharing things that are enough that you feel can build a clear picture about you so that they can accept you and know that why you're selecting them is important. You know what, there's another question about mentors available who are in academia. I don't have that exact number, but we actually have some people who are also faculty members that are participating. So definitely check out the platform. You can check out that maybe they're actually not necessarily faculty here, but they maybe are faculty elsewhere. We definitely, I have seen lecturers that are in there, and also different faculty members that are in different institutions. So be sure to check out the process. And also, I apologize, Sandeep, I actually didn't answer your question. At one time, you are able to send a request to one mentor, okay? And so again, you might be frustrated, like, why can't I send it out to more? We have found that when we have done it for more, then the student is put in a really awkward position to then have to tell two people, actually, I don't want you anymore. So we are trying to avoid you having to have that awkward conversation. And by doing it one at a time, you then don't have to manage like, oh, sorry, I didn't want you anymore. Like that's that awkward conversation. Okay, so those are all of the different Q&A questions that I had here. Again, remember that check out an email that you'll receive to let you know that that your priority access is open and that you're able to make your requests. And you know, we are here to answer any of your questions. And if you find that through this info session that the mentorship process wasn't for this mentorship program is not for you, there are mentorship programs that will come from different programs in the Career Center as well. And so we support you finding the mentorship program that works for you. Don't feel like this is the only thing that you can do. If you find that right now is not a good time, we will have other opportunities throughout the year to open up this program throughout the year, because we know that with this pandemic, we need all the help we can get. So, but we want this time to also be fruitful by starting your year off right, getting that mentor that can help you find what you're looking for, especially as you're managing school at home. So definitely, we hope that you enjoyed this session, and also let us know if you have any feedback as well. Encourage your other classmates to participate as well. And we hope that, again, we want to be here to support you through this time. And we know our alumni network want to be here to support you as well. So if you, thank you for those that have sent your feedback already. Let's see, we really appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck for the rest of the quarter. And again, we hope that this is not the end of our relationship with you. The Alumni Association wants to support you throughout your career as a student and as your time as alumni. If you, Michael, you have said, do we have to sign in? No, because you registered, we have your information already, okay? So you don't need to sign in. There's no other additional steps you need to take. You will receive that email by attending this event and completing it. You're all set, okay? So thank you everyone for your time, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our team, and we wish you the best of luck in the mentorship request process. And we know that you're going to be connected with some great alumni. So thank you everyone, and have a great day. Bye.